Hello everyone. Today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, just a talking video to switch it up a little bit. And I'm excited for this conversation and I'm excited about what I'm about to tell you. First and foremost, before we get into it, I wanted to tell you all that I have opened my Etsy shop in order to sell my paintings. And at the moment, there are only 2 paintings on the shop because they're the only ones that I have finished. So feel free to just go look. And I plan to post more and more of my paintings as soon as I finish them. And for now, that will be my avenue for selling my originals. I'm thinking about prints, but at the moment, it's just too overwhelming for me. So I prefer to just sell original paintings. It's just less stress, but I'm thinking about maybe selling products on websites that print on demand or something like that, but I have to do a little bit of research first. So this video is inspired by a beautiful email that I have received I think yesterday, and it just touched me so much. And first of all, I just wanted to tell all of you how much it means for a small creator like me to receive comments, emails, even likes, subscriptions. Like, since we don't have the numbers to kind of have proof that we are successful yet, like we are starting out, we are just starting to see if we can grow, and the numbers are really small and they're kind of slow to increase and everything. So each and every single comment or message that you send us or send small creators means the world. And I'm not saying that it doesn't mean the world to bigger creators. I don't think it ever changes, but for a person who's starting out, it just means so much. So sometimes, and I'm guilty of this too, we think that if we write something to someone on the internet, it's not gonna matter, they are not gonna care because we're just a stranger, and so it doesn't matter what we write. And sometimes I have that resistance to commenting on other people's posts and content that they're posting, because I feel like it doesn't matter to them if I do or I don't. And it's just not true. Like, it's just not true. And I have to remind myself that whenever I see something that I like on the internet, it's going to matter to that person if I comment on it. And I also see big creators on both YouTube and Instagram. They reply to each and every comment that you post. And I think it's because not many people comment compared to the ratio, like compared to the number of their subscribers or followers. They don't receive that many comments unless they are really big. And sometimes they even reply if they're really big. I just see that it's still very appreciated. Even at that point. So imagine what it must be for a small creator like me to receive this encouragement. So I want to thank from the bottom of my heart each and every one of you that commented or sent me a message. And this email that I received, it just allows me to be fueled up to create for at least a month. Like it just fuels me up to be able to create more. And of course, I'm not just relying on external validation for continuing to do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably. But it's just so much. I just want to reiterate how impactful your kind words and comments and messages can be for someone who's starting out, and even for someone who's already established in the field. So please understand this. So thank you so much to everyone, and to this person who sent me an email as well. So I'm not gonna, of course, share the email because privacy, but they touched on something that is really kind of common to deal with, and I deal with, and I have dealt with a lot, and I think it can be very beneficial to talk about it. And I wanted to share my perspective from the point of view of a person that has dealt with this, but also kind of I have overcome it in some sense. Of course, I still struggle with it, but I'm finding more and more that there is a way to overcome it in some sense. And the topic is perfectionism. Artists are kind of ridden with this curse of perfectionism. And of course, it's not just in art, but in everything that we do. And it's kind of tricky to deactivate this concept because most of us think of it as something positive. Even though we kind of see that we struggle with it, it's not very comfortable that we have it, we still see it as something that we're proud of because society really values that. And so it's kind of tricky to see it as just something that doesn't make us feel good and we should just abandon in some sense, like it doesn't serve us actually. Everything always boils down to love, and most of the things that are appreciated in our society are considered positive because they are a demonstration of love towards someone else. And in this society, we often consider effort to equate with love. So if you make an effort, it means that you care, it means that you're loving, it means that you are kind of giving your value and giving your worth to other people and your skill to other people, and so you're appreciated. Perfectionism is kind of a part of that because it means that you're not just flowing with your creation and your creativity, but you're just like making an effort for it to look perfect, usually for someone else. This is just a useful way to begin to see it, okay? We equate in our society effort with love, but most of the things that we do are actually referred to ourselves, and we do it as a kind of a service to ourselves. So in a way, perfectionism is not directed towards other people and for other people, but it's for us. And in perfectionism's case, the thing is that we are perfectionistic because we want to protect ourselves from something. So perfectionism is actually stemming from fear and not from love, because it's a protection against something scary. And that's something scary. We often perceive it as a judgment from other people. And again, if you dig under the surface, this judgment coming from other people is in relation to the fact that you're making an effort and so you care. It's not merely about an aesthetic thing. It's like, oh, you made an effort with this painting, I can see it. There's kind of a technical skill here, and I can see that you have worked at it for many years, and I can see that you wanted to give the most perfect result, like for example the most look-like result or realistic result, and so I can see that you care about this. I can see that you care about me as a customer, for example. So it is about, do you care about me? Do you love me enough? But everything that makes us fearful, everything that makes us suffer, is actually something that we believe about ourselves. And this is something that I have learned in the past few years. And I didn't think that it was true. I always thought that the fears that we have come from the reactions of other people around us. But actually, if someone judges us and we feel hurt, it's because we have a fear that that might be true. And so we kind of believe it in a way. It's never that we believe it 100%, but we believe it in a way. And so it's inside of us. So all of this to say, this is kind of a complicated way of putting it, but you can see it from many different angles. I could write like a book about this, like seriously. But the core of the issue is that you are afraid of your own judgment. And your own judgment, your own negative judgment towards yourself, you just absorbed from society as you were growing up. So it's not something that you naturally would think of yourself. So perfectionism is a protection against your own judgment. So it's all about you. It's all in you. It's all there. There's nothing else to examine. There's no society to examine. There's no other people to examine. Like it's you and yourself. On the one hand, this takes away a really comforting feeling that we have when we feel like victims. And so for some people, it's kind of difficult to accept because they feel more comfortable thinking that it's not their responsibility or it's not their fault that they feel like this, it's other people's fault. And that's a stage of development, and that's a stage of emotional understanding, and that's valid, and I went through it, so there's no problem with that, and I totally understand. But on the other hand, it's very empowering because it's just everything, it's just in yourself. And so it's for you to just discover that and basically let that go, because at some point when you figure out, okay, I'm doing all of this perfectionistic stuff because I'm afraid of my own judgment, I could keep going with that. I could go on and like, okay, yeah, it makes sense, it protects me from myself, yeah. But like after a while you can just realize, okay, I could just let go of my judgment, and so I don't need to protect myself against it. So it's really that simple at some point. But the hard part is not to actually see it for what it is and let that go. The hard part is to figure out that that's all there is. Like, that's the hard part. Once you arrive at the understanding that it's all you, it's all coming from you, actually, you're pretty much done with it. There's literally no real reason for you to be perfectionistic. Like, I just want to say that, even if you don't believe that, even if you don't feel it yet, like there's zero reason for you to be perfectionistic. One of the reasons why that is because you are already loving. And this is very difficult to accept. Like, even if you don't make an effort, and especially when you don't make an effort, you're just being yourself, you're just flowing with yourself and your creativity, you're already being loving. And this is just a personal belief that I have, and I think that it's just a bit weird. It's just a weird concept in our society, but we are already pure love at our core. We are already loving at our core. If you, again, take a look at yourself, you can see that. You still care about people, you still love people, you still love everything around you, even if you're not making an effort, okay? Even if you're not making an effort, even if you're not stressing out. For example, you're tired and you're just resting. When you're resting, you're not ceasing to be loving towards others or yourself. You still feel appreciation and love towards yourself and others. You're just resting. So you can see that at rest, your core and your intention is still loving. So love and effort don't actually go together. It's just that in our society, we don't take for granted that people have good intentions. We are unfortunately a fear-based society for now. And so we ask people to demonstrate their love through effort. And this is our way to kind of detect if someone has good intentions towards us or not. What's the problem? The problem is that not everyone has the same way of demonstrating love through effort and action. And so there arise conflict. So that's the gist of it. Like, I just wanted to let you know that if you don't make an effort, when you're painting, but in everything in life, if you're just flowing with yourself, you're still being loving, and I would argue you're being more loving towards others and yourself. This is just, I want to put this out there. I don't know if I can like explain it to a point that everyone can understand this, because it's kind of something that you just know about yourself, and so you know it about others as well. But I just wanted to put it out there. And I know it sounds like it doesn't have to do anything with what we're talking about. Like, we're talking about perfectionism and art, and this is more like a general view. But I truly believe that they go together. And everything in life refers back to this idea that our joy is enough. Like, us being joyful and doing what we feel naturally drawn to do is enough. Like, it's already super okay, like super good. And it's just so hard for us to comprehend, but it's very true. The way that I have overcome perfectionism in a way, even though I'm not perfect, of course, that would be an oxymoron, but I'm not at a stage where I'm completely free from every negative belief of society, etc. But I'm at a good stage, and I don't judge myself as much. And when I judge myself, I can just snap back to the fact that I don't have to, and it's unnecessary, and I'm already loving, and I'm already good with what I'm doing. And just expressing myself naturally like that's actually love because it's authentic and it's true. Effort to make something perfect in every situation in your life is not true. So how can it be loving? It just doesn't make sense. So that's what I wanted to say. I hope that it made some sense to you, and I hope that I gave you at least like a vibe in that direction, even if it's not like logically understandable. I hope that I can nudge you towards that, and nothing that makes you suffer, that you do that makes you suffer, is going to help you, because it's fear-based, and fear is not real. Fear is based on something that isn't true. And this comes from my spiritual beliefs and understanding of life. And I understand this is not for everyone, because if you're materialistic and you're atheistic, you cannot avoid, in a sense, to think that fear is reasonable and makes sense to listen to it and to act in reaction to it. But actually, I just find that it's not true. It's not true, and it doesn't lead anywhere. And actually, it's quite dangerous to live based on fear. So again, perfectionism is completely unnecessary. You don't need external validation from anyone. And I have so much more to say on this topic, because I also think that technical skill is not as important in art, and it's not what you should base your judgment of yourself. We teach art through technical skill, and I think it's very wrong. Like, to me, any artistic endeavor is just an internal process. It's just an internal process of getting rid of negative beliefs. It doesn't have anything to do with drawing, like knowing how to make the mark and knowing how to place the paintbrush on the canvas. It doesn't have anything to do with that. We teach art backwards. I think it's just a misunderstanding that technique is what you have to teach for someone to become an artist. I believe that skill is something that you develop and forge by following your inner guidance. If you want to paint something, if you're interested in some topic and you want to paint it and you want to represent it or express it in an artistic way, then you'll figure out technique. Or even better, you will invent technique. So I think technique is something that an artist developed in order to express what he wanted to express. So does it make sense that we teach techniques, like standardized techniques, to other people when that was that specific technique for that artist that wanted to express that particular thing and that particular perspective? That's all it matters in art. It's not about technique. It's not about presentation. It's not about aesthetics. And it's not about like form. It's not about what you see, but it's about what you feel, and it's about what perspective that painting has given you, what feeling it has given you, and that comes from the perspective of an artist. So you cannot actually take that, the way that that artist paints, and just apply it to yourself, because you will have a different perspective, so you will paint in a different way. So it doesn't make sense to teach technique. And this ties into perfectionism, of course, because perfectionism is based on the fact that there are rules and there are ways that you should do things, and you should follow them. And when you follow them, everybody will say, oh, you're such a good artist. And that's just not true, of course. And you can see that. You can see that with the things that you love about art and about other artists that you see. Ask yourself, what do I love about this piece of art? What do I love about this particular artist? If you say technique, it will be just like a surface level, okay? Or you're just so indoctrinated with the fact that art has to look a certain way that you just don't see your own preference and resonance. It doesn't make sense. I could talk on and on about this, but please let me know what you think in the comments. And this is not the last video that I will do on this. I'm just passionate about all of this. I'm just so passionate about all of this, and I have so many thoughts. It just lights my heart up on fire to talk about this, and it's just so nice to finally express all of these thoughts that I have about this. On a final note, I just wanted to say that this is something that I've been thinking for a long time and I've been wanting to do for a long time. So I think I will just do it, even though it's a little bit scary. But I want to open up the possibility for people to have a one-on-one with me if they feel the call to, or if they feel like I could be helpful. They would be like sessions between me and the person where I can give some guidance on some of these topics. I know that it's a little bit early and many people don't know what I'm about and what I can give them, but I just feel this pull towards helping other people. And of course, it will not be about teaching you how to be an artist, because first of all, like, I've just started this journey. And as I said, I consider it to be an internal journey. So I think that I am pretty good with that and I can be of help with that already. And so I just offer myself up to people, and you can find my offering in the Etsy shop, and I think it will be like a video call or something, and I can provide some guidance. So if you feel like it might be useful to you, or you can resonate with the way that I explain things and the way that I see the world, you can just grab it. But of course, no pressure on anyone. And yeah, I just feel called to do this, and I've been feeling called to do this for a really long time. Thank you guys so much for everything. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.